Good afternoon, everyone. I've been asked many times, how do we approach the topic of tampon use in our little girls? That's something that was a bit taboo for most of us when we were growing up. And for many of us, we didn't use tampons for the first time until we were young adults in college or even later. But our children are much more active. They're dancing, they're cheerleading, they're in sports, and they want to have the flexibility that tampons afford them in their activities. Also, just for swimming. Many of them want to go swimming with their friends and they don't want to be hampered by their period. So, I have a few tips for you. So, let's first look at some of the things that we'll need. You're going to need a couple of sponge balls. We call them Nerf balls, but you can just find some squishy sponge balls and you'll find them at Amazon or at Walmart. And then you need a super duper box of tampons because you want them to practice and use lots and lots of tampons so they can have some familiarity with their movements. And then finally, you're going to need a knife. You're only going to use that once, so don't get afraid, okay? All right, first, so you take your little sponge ball, and what you want to do is to cut a horizontal slit. Or is that a vertical slit? I think that's a vertical slit. Okay, something that's up and down so that you end up with something like this, that you have a nice slit. And then this is something that they will use to practice insertion, kind of their movements, getting a little muscle memory with kind of opening and closing the labia. All right, so the first thing you want to do, even before you start using your little sponge ball, is just to have them become familiar with the parts of the tampon. Have them open one up and get them a little accustomed to just the parts of the tampon. You want to see the bottom, and then you're going to have them push it up, okay? Have them do that a few times so that they can see it, and then they can see that the little string hangs out and what happens with the string when they pull it, okay? So once they get a little familiar with that, I want you to take another tampon, and I'm going to use a smaller one here. Because the reality is they're going to be using smaller ones when they first start. So the first thing, I want you to have them try using the tampon with the ball facing them because we don't want them to get overwhelmed too quickly. Have them place the tampon at the bottom of the ball, close the ball tightly, and then have them push. That way they get accustomed to the pushing motion with their finger. Have them pull away the plastic, and then they see the string hanging out, okay? Now that they see the string hanging out, they then realize that this is how we retrieve the tampon when we're done, and then we pull the string out, okay? Let's try that again, okay? I guess I should have had lots of these open. Again, we're gonna take our little ball, we're gonna place it just at the bottom of the ball, close the ball tightly, and push. Pull away the plastic, and there's our little string, okay? Have your young one do this over and over again until they get very comfortable with the motion of how to push in the tampon and pull away. So once they have become comfortable with that, have them pull the string again, then have them practice taking the little ball and opening and closing the ball from the inside so that their fingers become comfortable opening and closing their labia just by opening and closing the ball, okay? We take another tampon. Should have had my assistant, Victoria, my Vanna, have some of these open for me. But so then we have them take the ball, have it open right in front of them. They can do it at chest level. And then have them place the tampon just at the bottom, close the ball, and then once again, not too hard, have them push. And then we pull away, okay? And you have them do that a few times with the ball at chest level, have them do it again at stomach level, and then have them practice just between their legs so that they become comfortable with it, with the moving and opening and closing the labia and inserting the tampon. You want them to have, again, some muscle memory with using their hands to go through the motion, okay? Close, and then push, and then pull away, and then pull. After they've done this a few times, I often suggest to my moms to actually get a few tampons, get the smaller size, put a little KY jelly on them, and have your daughter practice on herself. After she becomes very comfortable with her little Nerf ball and kind of feel like, Mom, I can do this, have her practice on herself with the very, very slenders, cover it with KY jelly, and then have them inserted so that they're comfortable, so that when they actually do have their period, they're not overwhelmed. All right, I hope you found that this to be helpful. And if you have questions, just sound off below.